Hello guys, welcome to another video What It Takes to Be a Monarch, DaL X Fate, by PixyTokisaki14. Chapter 13. Confrontation POV, Artoria Pendragon. Me, Shido, Mordred and Kurumi busted into the stadium where this whole ordeal began. We ran down the hallway and once we were in the main atrium we stared down the diva who was surrounded by the spirits under her control.
So, you have returned. You have a lot of guts to come face me head on, she says staring down us.
Remember the plan? I whispered to the four of them which earned an understanding nod. Now, I shouted transforming into my lancer form. Me and Mordred lunged at the spirits with the goal of incapacitating them so that Shido could be alone with Miku. Miku's face contorted into a smile as she saw my lancer body, mainly because my breasts grew in size every time I was in this form. I forgot Miku likes her girls with big breasts. Hentai. I thrusted Rongamaniad in the center of their formation so that they would be broken up. A golden ray of light headed towards the place where I thrusted. The spirits saw this and they did as I thought and went to dodge. Mordred, I said while looking at the knight beside me. She gave me a nod and lunged towards the second group of spirits. Kurumi's clones then popped out of her shadow to help distract the spirits. In the chaos, while all of them were distracted, Kurumi managed to close the gap between her and Miku. She bleps her tongue at her as she sank in her shadow. The rest is up to you, Shido-san, she says to Shido behind as the blue-headed boy gave her a nod and jumped in her shadow after Miku. While the two were talking inside her shadow, me and Mordred were holding off the other spirits. Mordred has Kagaya and Yuzuru while I was against Yoshino and Yoshinon, Zadkiel. Sorry to do this Yoshino, Yoshinon, I said to myself while dodging their ice attacks. Again I was dodging, weaving and ducking to avoid her attacks. Thanks to training with Mordred, my body and mind acted as one and I dodged faster than before. I thrusted Rongamaniad into one of Yoshinon's legs. The leg got severed and the giant monster rabbit fell. Yoshino was falling but I managed to catch her before she hit the ground. I breathed a sigh of relief when I saw she was alright. I looked back to see Mordred smirking, enjoying her duel with the Yamai twins. After a couple of minutes fighting, Shido went out of Kurumi's shadow as well as Miku. The latter still unfazed on helping us so the fight continued on. It's no use, we have to retreat. Mordred, I said as Mordred gave a nod. Red lighting surrounded her body as her sword glowed a bright red. I then imparted mana into Rongamaniad as the holy lance glowed a golden color. Light, may you be released from the ends of the world. The spirits braced themselves as they sensed the enormous signature coming from my lance and Mordred's sword. This for sure will be the wicked blade that will destroy my father. Split the heavens and tether the earth, anchor of the storm. Clarent blood Arthur. Rongamaniad. His scene was blanketed by red and gold light confusing the spirits. The whole stadium started to collapse because it couldn't handle two noble phantasms being used in there. In the confusion we managed to sneak out of there. I transformed back into my saber form as we ran away. Shido looked back at the collapsing stadium with a saddened expression hoping that his friends would be alright. Pav, Miku Izayoi. They got away again. I got up from the rubble of what used to be the stadium. The other spirits were alright. I looked behind me and saw a huge gash on the ground where Artoria thrusted her lance and a bit to the left was where her companion swung her sword down. Those two are incredibly powerful. Shame they can't fall under my control. I'd love to see what the King of Knights taste like, I say to myself while licking my lips imagining her expression when I eat her out. After a few moments I along with the other spirits with me came back to the mansion. I thought about what that man said, he just wanted to save his friend who was trapped. Who am I kidding, he's a man. I'm pretty sure he'll just take advantage of her when he saves her. But that face he made while trying to convince me. It was filled with determination and not what I have expected. Perhaps he's telling the truth. I need to find out for myself. I set the spirits to search for the building he said that person he was looking for was being kept. I'll see if he just wants to save his friend. Pav, Shido Itsuka. After we escaped, me, Mordred, and Artoria went to shelter in the nearby parking lot. Kurumi disappeared after we escaped and was nowhere to be found. Shido, are you there? Katori said in my earpiece. Katori, are you alright? I said while Artoria and Mordred were talking about helping me get Tohka back. Yes, we're all right. We managed to break free from Miku's control thanks to the Fraxinus territory, she says as I breathed a sigh of relief. So, can you fill me up on what happened after we got hypnotized? She continued. Long story, and you might not believe what I'm going to say, I said with a tint of nervousness. Oh, pray tell, she replied waiting for my response. I breathed deep and started speaking. Saber, is Arthur. What? She replied with confusion. I mean Saber is the king of Camelot. Impossible. Arthur was a boy. She retorted, but I responded with the same explanation Artoria gave us earlier. Yes, she was a boy. But it was all fake. She said that with help from Merlin, they managed to fool everybody, including history, that she was a male. Her real name is Artoria. I can hear her sigh hard as she started speaking again. I guess that would explain why she has the sword of promised victory with her. You said there was another girl. Who was her name? Mordred. No way. The same Mordred that rebelled against Artoria, she said in disbelief. Rebelled? Baka Oni-chan. Mordred was once part of King Arthur's Round Table but rebelled against him. He's also known as Knight of Treachery. He clashed against Artoria to seize the throne of Camelot. Hang on, you said she. Mordred is a girl too, she exclaimed in disbelief. Apparently. I replied while shrugging. I need a couple of minutes to digest this revelation, she said in a pained tone. Just then Artoria and Mordred approached me with a serious expression plastered on their faces. Shido, we will help you get Tohka back, Artoria announced, to which Mordred added. Can't let my classmate get captured and let the culprits get away scot-free, can I? She added with her hands behind her head wearing a confident smirk. Thank you. Knights of the Round Table, I said with a smile on my face. No need for formalities, Shido Itsuka. Camelot is lost to history, so I'm just a commoner like you, she says with an authoritative tone which earned her the title of king. Katori said she will also help us getting Tohka back, I added, which earned a nod from Artoria. We have no time to wait for Miku. Tohka could be in great pain right now, every second counts, she said, which I nodded. Let's go, she says while grabbing my hand. I noticed my body began to become invisible like before. I noticed that Artoria and Mordred were invisible as well. After that we ran down the rams and out of the parking lot. We sprinted towards the DEM building where Tohka is being kept. Pav, Artoria Pendragon. All right, we're here, I announced as we stopped in front of the building. This place is crawling with wizards, we should use stealth, I added, still in our invisible form. Just then, the building got attacked by the other spirits. The wizards inside the building flew up to defend it. Right on time. I mumbled to myself. Huh, I guess Miku finally came around, Mordred added while looking at the battle that was happening above them. We then get out of our invisibility cloak and stared down the entrance of the building. We then noticed Miku flew down one of the buildings to our sides. I will help you. Only because I want to add that girl to my spirit collection, she said as Shido smiled. Thank you. Miku, he thanked the diva with a smile. Miku just blushed and stormed to the entrance. Let's go already, she said. Come on, I motioned the two to follow Miku as we entered the building. It's like the building is haunted, Shido said as we start to climb the stairs to the top of the building. Keep your guard up, there's no telling that everyone went out to fight the spirits, I said as we walked up the stairs with caution. I had Excalibur out leading ahead with Mordred behind me holding Clarent. Shido was next, followed by Miku. When we reached the midpoint we were attacked by armed men with assault rifles. Me and Mordred managed to cut down the men in front of us but didn't notice one was about to shoot Miku. Before he could fire the trigger he dropped dead on the ground with Shido holding less than Sandalphon greater than. Since when can you use a spirit's angels? Miku said with a bit of shock in her voice. I don't know either, but let's keep moving, he replied as I nodded and continued to move up the building. When we were near Tay floor where Tohka was kept, we managed to get a glimpse of the battle outside the building. We saw Kurumi's clones completely destroying the drones that were attacking the spirits. We continue after watching for a bit and saw the door that leads to the room where Tohka is in. This is it, I said as I cut down the door in an X pattern. When we looked inside, Tohka was seen strapped to a chair behind a bulletproof glass panel. Tohka! Shido exclaimed as he rushed inside and banged on the glass so that Tohka notices him. Shido! Don't come any closer, she said as I felt a presence that was rushing towards Shido. This is my last chance or else Tohka would inverse. I rushed forward and parried a blade that was aimed at Shido's abdomen. Ellen tries to attack Shido again with her golden blade, but I pushed Shido to the side and blocked it again. Just then, we heard a shot from a gun. We looked to see Shido with a bullet in his head laying in a pool of his own blood. At the door we see the person who shot him. It was none other than the person with the most punchable face in history, Isekai'd. No! Tohka shouted as the room started to shake. Me, Mordred and Miku got down to cover as an explosion ripped the top part of the building off. When the dust cleared we saw Tohka in her inverse form. A very revealing dark purple and black outfit that's covering much of her skin. There she is, Ellen. Our true enemy, he said, staring down the inverse spirit in front of him. Ellen just nodded and attacked the inverse spirit, but Tohka had other plans. Tohka then slashed Nehema down, which Ellen barely dodges. Her skin was cut and blood was dripping from the wound. She then jumps back and lands beside Westcott while clutching her wound, trying to prevent more blood from spilling out. You are in no condition to fight, let's let them deal with it, he said while looking at Ellen with a hint of worry. He then looks at me smirking. We'll see each other again, less than Monarch greater than, he said before disappearing in a bright flash of blue light. Asterisk 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 asterisk, this is bad. This is the exact thing I don't want to face. It's here now and I have to fight her head on. Miku was first to attack her. She tried using less than Gabriel greater than to try and take control of her, but she got kicked in the stomach and sent into a nearby pile of rubble. You cannot bind me, witch, she said as she stared down me and Mordred. Mordred, take Shido and Miku with you. Katori, if you can hear me, teleport Shido's body and Mordred up to the Fraxinus. As I said that, Shido got up from the pool of blood surrounding him as he looked up to see inverse Tohka. Tohka. I heard him mumble. Shido, get out of here if you do want to keep living, I said as my armor started turning black. Dark purple lightning surrounded me as a dark purple, red and black aura emanates from my body. My skin turned pale as Excalibur slowly darkened in color. The golden accents got replaced by a menacing red color. Artoria? Is she inversing? No, Katori, I want you to teleport me, Mordred and Miku up there. Shido then too a look at me as my hair turned into a pale shade of yellow and a black visor with red veins covered my eyes. Katori now, Shido yelled as he was surrounded by blue light. He was teleported to the Fraxinus with Mordred and Miku. My transformation finished as I look at Tohka with a cold expression behind my dark black visor. Another one. Maybe you could prove to be more of a challenge, she said as she looked at my altered form head to toe. I then held Excalibur Morgan and got into a stance. Tohka, or Tenka as she is referred to now, smirked, and begins to charge at me at full speed.